Good evening and welcome to the Milford Select Board meeting of April 28, 2025 at 6 p.m. in Room 3 of Town Hall. The first agenda item is the signing of the warrant.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we sign the warrant.
Tom?
Yeah, and I second that.
And I would make that unanimous. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
And I would make that unanimous as well. If I may, real quick for people that are watching, the chairman of the board, Attorney O'Loughlin, is zooming in this evening. So that's why you'll see him zooming in. Next is approval of the regular session minutes of April 14th.
Motion to approve the regular session minutes of April 14th, 2025.
Mr. Chairman, I second that.
And I would make that unanimous. Roll call,
Aye.
please.
Aye, Mr. Chairman.
Aye.
And I as well. Okay. Our next agenda item is public hearings. This evening, we do have one public hearing. It is National Grid and Verizon New England, the installation of a pole on 11 Beaver Street. Andrew, is they on?
Yep, we have Jeff.
Okay. Jeff, are you there?
I am here. Good evening, everybody.
Here's Jeff.
Good evening,
Yep.
good evening. Okay, this is a petition from Massachusetts Electric Company, National Grid, and Verizon New England Incorporated to install one JO pole on Beaver Street beginning at approximately 25 feet northeast of the center line of the intersection of Beaver Street. National Grid proposes to install one 45 C2 pole anchor and guide. They also seek permission to lay and maintain underground laterals, cables, and wires for the purpose of making connections with such poles and buildings for distribution purposes. Jeff is with us this evening from National Grid. Jeff, you want to go ahead and give us an update, please?
We are looking to install a pole between pole 9 and pole 10. Beaver Street provides electrical service for chargers, vehicle chargers for the hotel.
Okay. And Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like you're installing this new pole between two existing poles.
Correct, pole 9 and pole 10.
Yep.
And we will be installing a pole 9-51 on the hotel's property, which we are getting an easement for.
Okay, so that's the next question I was going to ask you, Jeff, and I apologize, my name is Mike Walsh. This is
Yeah, no problem.
this is in the vicinity across the street from the DoubleTree?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Paul?
Yeah, no, I have no questions. The only thing, everything was explained very well. And Jeff, you didn't, even though there's no one here where it's a public hearing, to add any comment. Had any abutters or anybody comment to you prior to the meeting?
I have not, and I will take any questions if you have anybody that's there that
Okay.
has concerns.
Yeah, no, we don't have any here right now. Anyway, thank you for that. Anyway, unless Tom has something.
Tom?
I do not.
Do not?
Okay, this being a public hearing, is there anybody in the audience that's here about the hearing? Andrew, anybody online? No. Okay, not having anybody here for the public hearing, Paul, can we?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the petition as presented in the description that Jeff gave us to the Select Board, and also what you just read now, regarding the installation of a pole, a JO pole on Beaver Street beginning at a certain point, 25 feet north, et cetera, et cetera. And also, if they can make the same motion to approve also the maintenance to maintain underground lateral and cables and wires in the above intersecting public ways that was described in the description of the petition.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
And I would make that unanimous. A roll call vote, please.
Aye.
Aye.
And I as well. And thank you very much, Jeff.
Thanks,
You are
Jeffrey.
all set.
Thank you, Jeff.
Have a great night.
You too,
as
thank you.
well.
Good job.
Our next agenda item is scheduled appointments this evening. We do have two scheduled appointments. Our first is with our Human Resources Director to talk about the insurance audit for the town of Milford. Kristen, good evening.
Good evening, Kristen.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Kristen.
Okay, so the dependent audit is something fairly new. We had originally talked about this actually brought it up about 3 years ago. It was kind of thrown against the wall because it's a different concept where you have a third party come in and they set up a website and they reach out to the employees who have dependents and they say, show us your connection to the dependent, so birth certificates, that kind of thing, divorce decrees, marriage certificates, all those things, so we can make sure that the people that are on our plan that we're paying for are actually eligible to be on the plan. Didn't really dig into it too much, and then recently, of course, with all these increases, there's been concern that maybe, we've got some utilization from people that, through no fault of their own, maybe just don't understand the eligibility rules, or for whatever reason, have dependents on that shouldn't. So what this will do is this will go through everyone who is on our rolls, active, and there's a kind of a middle group, the folks that are maybe Medicare eligible, but they have dependents that are on our active plan. Those folks will have to be checked as well.
Sure.
The third party, we did a request for proposal, ran this through Zach, we ran it past the IAC, Peter Filosa, and the group was very supportive. It was unanimous to do this particular audit. And so we signed all the papers, and we've worked with the company since, talking about how we announce it to everybody. I know that we had an issue, an IT issue not too long ago where people were concerned about whether or not the communications they were getting were legitimate. So we wanted to address that. We're going to be sending out communications with our logo on it to make people understand they're going to be contacted and that they're going to be asked for information to upload. They can also mail it in. They can talk to somebody on the phone. So it's something, this is the only thing that these people do, and they've done it a lot. And what they've found is that they do end up rooting out some people who are, on plans that shouldn't be. And that can really add up. And we're hoping that the end result of this is that the roles that we have are clean and that everything we do going forward will be to ask for these, birth certificates and everything going forward. So there'll be a little bit more paperwork in the benefits office to make sure that the dependents that people are claiming are actually eligible. But we got to make sure that what we've got now is correct. So that's what this whole thing will do. I know it sounds long. We've seen the mock website, and it's very simple to follow. Again, there are phone numbers all over it, so hopefully they'll be fielding all the phone calls, and it shouldn't be too heavy to lift for us.
Thank you. Actually, Kristen, when I first read this, having spent my life in the automobile business in many, many, many audits, as soon as you get notified, the anxiety levels go through the roof. But at the end of the day, it's not only, personally, it's a good thing, it's a good thing, all around. And the first thing I thought about was how many people, and hopefully not a lot, but how many people maybe have dependents on the plan that aren't supposed to be on the plan, and they're paying.
I know.
But and the life gets so busy, you forget.
Right.
And, you get your check, and that's the way it is, and, and something like this, it may come up and say, hey, you're paying for something that you shouldn't be. So it's really a two-way street. It's and I guess I wanted to get that out to the employees of the town, is that just, it really is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a housekeeping tool.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that, once it's cleaned up, and I want people to understand that the whole point of this is not a gotcha moment for anybody. It's really, it all affects the price. It's getting so expensive. And we're really trying to use everything we have to keep it as low as possible.
Paul?
Yeah, I just want to say, I think this is, you explained everything in detail and very easy to understand, and we appreciate that. And again, it ensures fairness. It ensures fairness in our insurance plans, and it provides those who are eligible and those who aren't. Like I said, it would, I'm sure we would notify them and whatnot, and like I said, that can lead to, like you were mentioning before, where insurance is so high. I think the last we had was 8%. and that was through your work, which usually is 10 and 12%, so we had it at 8%, and like by, identifying those who aren't eligible, it more or less could hopefully bring the insurance premiums down, or at least maintain the same without rising, and any money we save, could go toward that, or it could go towards some other resources that we need in the town. So I think it's just being fair to those who deserve it, and those who really don't, they should, have another way to do it. I'm sure we'll guide them in that way, but like I say, I think it's a good thing, and I'm all in favor. Thank
The
you.
company does provide resources to people that might lose an eligibility.
Sure.
So they help them, toward the marketplace and those other kinds of.
Exactly, right. Thank you.
Tom?
Yeah, I agree with everything that my colleague Paul made mention of. I'd only add that, it's an obligation that we have to the taxpayers, because the largest pool of money that is invested in healthcare comes from the tax base. So to go out and give the assurance to the taxpayers that we are expending their money wisely and appropriately. So I think the audit is appropriate.
Thank you, and I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, thank you.
Motion?
Don't need a motion, it's more an announcement.
You should announce
Okay.
it, yes.
Just kind of concerned if we
Yeah.
just throw it out there without at least
Okay.
providing some advance
Thank you.
notice.
Actually, you'll know.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thanks.
Next scheduled appointment is with our fire chief, Chief Nelson, to explain the awarding of the emergency ambulance service. Good evening, Chief.
Mr. Chairman,
Chief.
hello. Board members, hello.
Hi.
If you'd just indulge me just for a second, I would just like to
Absolutely,
say
take your time.
thank you for supporting the article for the PFAS-free gear. I have to get that out in the open and just say thank you.
You're very welcome.
It means a lot to the
Yeah.
department, and I'm just really happy. So
We are too.
I had to take a moment to say thank you.
You're very welcome.
Segue into ambulances. So since 2012, December 2012, Community EMS has served the town of Milford with emergency ambulance service. Fast forward to 2022, when we were renewing the contract, there was a last-minute change that was agreed upon between the town and community to kind of change our model of response. So we used to, in the beginning, have 2 paramedic ambulances. Both ambulances had 2 paramedics. In 2022, kind of at the last minute, they wanted to go to a different model, a paramedic basic model, it's called. So it's a paramedic staffing the ambulance with a basic EMT. And with that, they gave us what's called a fly car, a paramedic supervisor in a separate vehicle. What it did was really reduce the amount of paramedics for the town from 4 to 3. But we still had more responders because you had basic EMTs staffing those ambulances. Was it the end of 23, the end of April of, the end of December of 23, there was another change that was proposed mid-contract, and we were, I'll say, forced into the change, where they wanted to reduce the fly car, that paramedic supervisor, to 12 hours a day, and it mirrored the basic life support ambulance that we had for 12 hours a day. So in the overnight, we were reduced to basically 2 paramedics, right? One in one ambulance and one in the other. And we agreed to it because we felt we were in a position that we didn't want to make, we don't want to sever contracts and, you know, and make changes mid-year and kind of force ourselves into things, into situations we really didn't want to be in. We wanted service to continue to the town uninterrupted. So we said, okay, we accepted the change. So word would be that it was mutually agreed upon, but I feel that we were forced into it.
Sure.
So with that, we decided, at that time, we said, in a few months, we're going to release an RFP, and we're going to see what other companies are interested in serving the town. So we did that this past February, and we had a due date of April, and we had 3 respondents, right? So we received 3 proposals, one from the incumbent. The problem with communities at this time is they're requiring what's called the subsidy, so they want us to pay for the service. And we're not going to pay that kind of money for the service. So that proposal was put aside, and we had two other proposals, one from Coastal EMS and one from Pride Star Trinity EMS. And the deputy chief and I interviewed both companies, I'd say at length, and did some research, and the company that's best suited to serve the town of Milford is Coastal EMS. And one of the reasons, but not the only reason, is because they have the hospital contract starting, I believe, in May. So the non-emergency work and some emergency work that comes out of the hospital,
Yeah.
patients that have to go to, from the hospital to point B or whatever, that's going to be Coastal's contract.
So they're going to be in town anyway
They are.
with our regional hospital.
They are.
Okay.
So we felt, and with their proposal, we are going to return to the 2 paramedics per ambulance model, which is 2 ambulances each have 2 paramedics 24/7. So we won't have that fly car supervisor paramedic any longer, but we feel that with the 4 paramedics and the volume of ambulances coming through the area to service the hospital,
Yeah.
will give us adequate backup. And if for some reason one's not available, we'll continue with mutual aid like we have forever.
Exactly, right.
So with a favorable vote from the board, we would be able to enter into contract negotiations with Coastal.
Excuse me, Chief. One of the things you mentioned was about the pay from the community EMS, that you had to pay for certain things. How would the payment come to with Coastal?
So when I say payment for a subsidy, basically we'd have to pay community a retainer based upon the service that we wanted.
Oh, okay.
So if it was the paramedic basic model that we have right now,
Right.
it would be X.
Okay.
It would be substantial.
Right.
If it was a 2 paramedic model that we're going to
Going to
receive,
now, yeah.
it would be double.
Okay.
It's a substantial amount of money.
Right, and that was from community.
Correct.
Right.
So-
But we're not getting that from Coastal.
Coastal is not requiring a
Oh,
subsidy.
fantastic. Yeah, okay, thank you for that.
The other company, Pride Star Trinity, that they presented I'll call it a nice proposal. Problem is, when we look at this, we want to look at sustainability. And I'm cautious in being promised too much, which is why I think we had to negotiate mid-year from community.
Exactly.
And I don't want to be
Yeah.
put in that position
No.
again, so I think a realistic proposal is important.
Right.
I think that's what I received from.
Beautiful. Good.
Chief, a question, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Going back to, restructuring the fire department and appointing captains, one of our reasons was that, you show up to a fire or you show up to an emergency and you got 2 lieutenants, who's in charge? Which made perfect sense. So let's flip it the other way around, because as you know, every emergency call or every medical call, the fire department rolls as well. And I would assume that most of the firefighters that are responding to those calls are paramedics.
So,
I guess what I'm getting at is, so everybody shows up to a medical. Who's in charge of the scene?
so if it's a type of incident, like, let's say, a motor vehicle accident, we'll run with a command structure, right? So we'll have an incident commander. It's a fire officer. But Coastal, if approved, they'll be the higher level of medical care. They'll have paramedics, where we're a basic life support service. So if we arrive first, we start patient care, we do a patient transfer to Coastal. If Coastal arrives first, they're doing their assessment, then we come in and help. Right?
Okay.
So it's a partnership. there's really not an issue of who's in charge. Everybody kind of knows how the system flows because we're all trained in ICS, right?
Yep.
And that's how that would work.
Tom?
Yeah, I have no questions. Everything the chief mentioned, I'm well aware of. I think it's a great proposal. It's bringing us back where we were. There's no subsidy, which is money that would be paid by the town.
Right.
And if the chief is comfortable with the service, I think that's the right approach.
I agree with this. I agree with Selectman O'Laughlin as well. If the chief is comfortable with that, he did the interviews, him and the deputy, extensive interviews from what I understand. So like I says, if you're comfortable, this is your department. You know your department better than anybody, and definitely take whatever you say to heart. Thank you. You need a motion, Michael? A motion to accept the proposal of coastal EMS of 372 Yarmouth Road, Hyannis, Mass, to be our emergency ambulance service.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
Make that unanimous with a roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
And I as well.
Thank
Chief,
you.
you're all set. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Great night.
Have a great night, and thank you for everything, Chief.
Take care, Chief.
Thanks, Chief. See you now.
Okay, next agenda item is the town administrator.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just two quick items tonight. One, just a thank you to Parks Director Jimmy Asum and his crew. I don't know if you noticed, but they provided mulch and spread the mulch here at Town Hall. They also did the same at the Senior Center. So I'm a big believer. I think it really enhances the outside of the building. We have this beautiful building inside. So just a thank you to them. And Carlos Benjamin, our facilities director, is most appreciative for the help in getting that work done. The second issue is the House has now released its preliminary Chapter 70 budget, education budget, as well as their unrestricted general government aid budget. They agreed on the Chapter 70 budget proposed by the governor, which is an increase of $5,734,000 from last year, fiscal year 25. However, they level funded unrestricted general government aid, no increase from fiscal year 25. Again, it's only the second step in the process. The Senate will now meet next to release and review their proposed budget numbers, and then again, assuming there's no agreement between the House and the Senate, then it will go to conference committee, and they will then hash it out and come out with a budget to submit to the governor for her signature. So the process is ongoing. As you know, we've had conversations. We need to watch this very closely, given our situation with the new school and other things coming on. So I just wanted to update the board on where the budget is now at the state level.
Right, and excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just to ask Rick, too, even though there's a $5 million increase in the Chapter 70 fund, that's just in words right now. It's not in any action, because I know when...
It's final.
Because I know when Brian was here a meeting or two ago, he mentioned the fact that the budget for the state is usually a little over $60 billion, and what we depend on the federal government for is like $16 billion, but we don't know whether we're going to get that to actually give the 5%, I mean, the $5 million increase, or maybe a zero increase for general government, could be even a negative number, you know, for all we know. So it's just something that, just to let the public know and other town employees know that that's not in stone right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Has State Rep Brian Murray been able to give any update on where the feds are right now?
Not at this point, no. I talked with Brian pretty
So
much
they're still
daily,
going?
and
Yeah.
It's obviously a concern, but it's still too early.
Yeah.
So as the state rep said, they're going forward, you know, at the state level, just planning the budget.
Yeah, in a conservative fashion.
Right. Okay. Tom?
I have no questions. I think it is a wait and see on all of this, so.
Yeah. True.
Absolutely. Okay, Rick, that's it.
That's it for
Thank you
tonight.
very, very much.
Thank you.
And you'll keep us abreast of this.
Thank you, Rick.
As it proceeds to the Senate and then to the conference committee, yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, next agenda item is old business, and under old business, we have the town administrator with a revised annual town meeting.
That's the warrant you approved at the last meeting with two additional articles. Obviously, the chief alluded to the chief ask gear, which obviously the fire department, the chief, the deputy chief are most appreciative for. And then the other article, as you know, was the school.
The elevator.
Stacy's school had an issue with an elevator. Rather than wait till October, it did not seem to make sense with the approval of the finance director, FinCom, myself, and others. It just made sense. So the warrant's there. There's nothing for you to do unless you want to comment on something or do something. Typically, you let the warrant go to the May 19th meeting. And obviously, then you will prepare statements for your articles, and obviously, you're free to comment on any other articles.
Sure, right. No, just, Ricky, just thank you to yourself and Zach and other department heads for keeping that in mind, that we do, can have some fiscal, to have some fiscal responsibilities, as well as the finance committee, too, for, reviewing all this and for taking their time out to make sure that the budget and the articles were in proper order, and their recommendations as well. So thank you. Thanks a lot to everybody.
Tom?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And Rick, just so we know, the final certified number is 34 articles.
I believe so, if that's what it says.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, and we'll be going to town meeting on the
19th, I
19th
believe.
of May.
Yep.
Okay. Paul, do you have anything on the old business you'd like to?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Tom?
I do not, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. And then we move on to our next agenda item, which is new business. First item under new business is the resignation from the Milford Cultural Council. I have decided that I no longer am able to continue in my role as a member of the Milford Cultural Council due to medical reasons. I have really enjoyed the committee and the amazing work that has been done. Effective immediately, I am resigning from my post. Luckily, from the minutes I see, you may have a quick replacement, so I'm happy about that. I hope to run into you at some events, and I will continue to respect and appreciate all the work the committee has done for the town of Milford. Sincerely, Michelle Pesey. I hope I pronounced that properly. Michelle, thank you very, very much for your service to the community. We greatly appreciate it. Paul?
Yeah, I just want to thank her and also the committee itself. A very, very worthwhile committee in our town, helps us with humanities, sciences, and it just helps and help the community become a better community. And also our gratitude to Michelle for her dedication and service to the Milford Cultural Council. The only thing that I regret is that not only that she's leaving, but it has to be because of medical reasons. Right. And as the select board in the town of Milford and the committee members for the cultural committee, I'm sure we wish her the best. And hopefully moving forward, she does very well.
Thank you. Tom?
I agree with the comments of both of you, Mike, and Paul. So I just echo what you said. Thank you.
Okay, and Ricky will make sure, as always, we get a letter out to Michelle. And again, Michelle, thank you very much for your service to the community. We appreciate everything, that you did while you were part of that committee, and hopefully in the background you'll be able to give some advice to new members that are coming on in the future. So again, thank you very much for your commitment to this community. Next on the new business is the town administrator, the renewal of secondhand and antique dealer and pawnbroker licenses.
The licenses are there in a list, and basically they're secondhand, pool table, and a bowling alley license. So this is the time of the year that those licenses are renewed. Majority of the licenses, as you know, are renewed the end of the calendar year in December.
Okay. So what I'll do, Rick, is I'll take them in 3 different categories.
However you prefer, sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So the first one is the renewal of secondhand antique dealer and pawnbroker licenses for 2025.
A motion, Mr. Chair, to approve the secondhand antique dealer and pawnbroker license for 2025 that are listed here.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
I would make that unanimous. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
And I as well. Next is the renewal of the pool table license for 2025.
Motion to renew the pool table license for 2025.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
Make that unanimous. A roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
And I as well. And last is the renewal of the bowling alley license for 2025.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we renew the bowling alley license for 2025.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
And I would make that unanimous. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
And I as well. Okay, thank you very much. Next is the town administrator in reference to proclamation/Arbor Day.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a number of years. The tree warden, Chucky Renault, takes it very seriously, and we'd like to continue to do this. So there's a proclamation before you. I have a corrected one to be signed, as I somehow skipped Mr. Walsh's last name. I'm sorry about that. So we would just need a motion to do that.
A motion to accept the proclamation for Arbor Day. Again, it's very important. It shows the importance of trees in the community and whatnot, and what it could do for the environment and for the well-being of our residents as well. So I definitely would make a motion to approve the proclamation.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
And I would make that unanimous. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
And I as well. Okay, and our last item under new business is unfortunately the retirement of our longtime town planner, Larry Duncan. Please accept this writing as my formal retirement announcement. My last day of full-time employment will be August 29, 2025. It has been my honor to have served the town and the planning board since December 3, 2001. With the 2024 comprehensive plan nearly in its final adoption by the planning board, I am confident that it will serve my successor well as a guide to fulfilling their duties as the next town planner. We all know at some point these days come. You know, I was reading this, and I can't believe that Larry started in 2001. I just said, where did all those years go? I just want to say a special thank you to Larry, because Larry's role in the town of Milford is one that a lot of people aren't happy to see the town planner, because a lot of times he's the person that has to deliver the bad news or critique what you want, and it's not what you want. And, you know, it can be a very difficult position, and Larry's handled that job, in my opinion, for many years. He's treated everybody with respect. He's done the best that he could to be fair to everybody, to be understanding to everybody, and I personally just want to say, Andy, you know, thank you very, very much for everything you've done for the community, because I truly understand that is a tough position to be in, and you've done it with integrity and with honor. And thank you very much. Paul?
Everything you said, Mike, was right on. Larry did play a key role in shaping the town's development, zoning, long-term planning, and he will be missed, like I said, in his leadership in getting planning done, too, that needs to be done to make the town better and get on track is definitely very, very much appreciated. And like he mentioned, the next town planner that's going to come in will have some big shoes to fill. And you mentioned, too, about him being here since 2001. Just to show you how old I am, Larry was my sixth town planner that I went through since 1977. You know, so anyway, I got them all listed, but I'm not going to mention their names. Anyway, good luck to you, Larry, and we're going to miss you.
Absolutely. Tom?
I echo what each of you said, and I would just add, you know, Larry, enjoy your retirement. It's well-deserved.
It sure is.
Again, Larry, thank you very, very much. You will surely be missed. Okay. Next agenda item is invitation to speak. Is there anybody in the audience, invitation to speak? Not seeing anybody. Anybody online? No. There's nobody online. Okay, and we will move on to agenda item H, which is correspondence. Paul, do you have any correspondence?
Mr. Chair, I do not.
Tom, do you have any correspondence?
I do not, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, and I do not as well. We do not have any executive session this evening, so I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
I would make that unanimous. A roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
And I as well. And again, I just want to repeat what I said earlier in the meeting. Selectman O'Loughlin did Zoom in. He is home this evening. Everything is fine. So if anybody was wondering, that's where he is. He's home Zooming in this evening, doing a great job.
I just want to make a statement, too, where Tom had a very busy day, and this shows dedication, that he actually, made sure he was home in time enough to come to the meeting.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate that, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, thank you. And with that, we'll say good evening to everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in, and hope that the rest of the week goes well for you.
Thank you.
And good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.